what you're referring to is Michigan. So there's been 7 states that have passed similar amendments, and Michigan is the example that you're giving. And so once that amendment passed, then the same people who proposed this amendment then sued the state saying, okay, you can't prohibit abortion, so now you have to make sure that the state pays for them, because if a woman's prohibited and delayed to have an abortion because she can't afford it, then it's on, the burden goes on the taxpayer. And so we know that that's what these special interest groups have done in the past, is make the amendments go into effect. They dump millions and millions of dollars, and we're not talking about Floridians here. We're talking about people from other states who have a special interest in Florida, groups like Planned Parenthood, or who are going to make money off of the abortions. So this is their motivation, right? They want to make sure that that abortion is going to be enshrined in Florida so that they can always make money off of Floridians. Right. And so they want to make sure that it always happens. So they're going to dump millions of dollars, not because they care about women, but because they're making an investment. Right. They want that ROI. And so they're going to make sure that that happens. And then they're going to stick the bill on who? On the Floridians.
On the Florida taxpayer. And I don't think people I really don't think people understand those two pieces. Like I'm all for states' rights and states being able to govern how they see fit. Like, I believe that's how our country was founded, and that's the way it should be. There's a couple of small things that the federal government should do, right? But when you have these special interest groups that come in for profit, it's not the citizens of Florida that are proposing this amendment. It is rather these special interest groups that will profit greatly by this amendment coming in.
It's critical for people to know is this is irreversible. There's only been one amendment in Florida that's been reversed, and that was prior to changing the percentage that's required. So this will be the law. We will not be able to change it. If people are unhappy with current Florida law, then they need to go through our legislators and do it correctly, not with a vague constitutional amendment, an extreme constitutional amendment that will take away our rights forever to do anything here. And my big concern is the health of women. When you get an abortion, you are not going to be protected the same way you would be for any other procedure. So it is critical that people vote no on this amendment, even if they're pro-choice. This amendment is too extreme. Let's change it. If you want to vote people out, do it that way. But don't do it where nobody has really the chance to examine it and work it out properly. I think the other thing that I wanted to address was you were talking about how quickly doctors are to push abortion. Doctors don't want to be sued. It's been so litigious, and they don't want to be sued. They don't want to be sued for a baby that's abnormal. And so as soon as a baby might be abnormal, they're going to recommend abortion. I recommended abortion to a patient just because I had given her an antibiotic for an infection. It turned out she was pregnant, and that antibiotic might have turned the baby's teeth yellow. And I told her, maybe you should consider an abortion. It could affect their teeth, blah, blah, blah. Thankfully, she left my practice, very offended. And years later, I met her son when he was in high school. And I was so thankful that she did that.
Personally for you, like what was driving you so much to speak so powerfully about this topic?
I think because it's irreversible. It's not like it's something that can be changed. I think there are very few Floridians who actually think that a person should have a right to get an abortion all the way up to birth. That is just horrible. I think everybody recoiled when the governor in Virginia was proposing that. So I think that's the main thing for me, and the harm that it's going to do women. These are complicated procedures. The farther along you get, the more complicated they are, but the more money abortionists make. They get huge amounts of money for late-term procedures. And don't tell me that they're not done. Dr. Hearn out west, he does third trimester abortions, and he admits the majority are not done for fetal or maternal reasons. They're elective. I think one thing that's critical is that we let people know that our current abortion laws do not prevent doctors from taking care of patients. I did a poll of my partners when they were pushing the idea that that abortion was health care and you couldn't take care of patients without having access to abortion. When I asked my partners, it turned out that neither I nor any of my partners had ever done or had to refer a patient for an abortion just to take care of a pregnancy complication. Sometimes we did have to deliver that patient early. Sometimes that baby didn't survive, but we knew we weren't committing an abortion because that was not our intent to kill that baby. We're hearing all this misinformation about, oh, doctors aren't going to be able to practice. They'll be afraid to take care of patients. That's a lot of baloney. I mean, it's our responsibility to understand the law, to know the law, but our law is very clear. They've clarified that ectopic pregnancy, miscarriage, molar pregnancy, all of these things would not fall under the current law. There are exceptions for serious complications, to the mother's health and her life, so that the things that they are putting out in the ads, most of them are lies, and you have to follow the money. Who is going to benefit by this amendment?